Welcome everybody to my pick a card. I read tarot intuitively and sometimes energy. The topic of today's pick a card reading is going to be who from back in the day has been thinking about you. So we actually have 4 groups for you to choose from today. We have group 1 with the tree on a bracelet. We have group 2 with the tree pendant that has like little gems in it. We have group 3 with the turquoise button, and we have group 4 with the plain tree. So you can take a moment to choose whichever one you feel the most drawn to. I might just quickly hold them up. I feel kind of drawn to for one, so don't always. So it's the bracelet, group 1. That's the pendant with like the gemstones in it. Okay, that's like the turquoise button, and that's the plain pendant on its own. Okay, so once you've chosen whichever group you feel the most drawn to, use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead, and we will get started with group 1. Okay, welcome group 1. If you chose the tree pendant on a bracelet, then this will be your reading today on who from back in the day has been thinking about you. So the first thing that I was hearing while I was pulling the cards is there's no hard feelings here. And so I don't know if you guys have Aquarius in your chart, or if it's just a person, like in something to do with the energy of like your relationship, or how they knew you from back in the day, or kind of what they're seeing about you now is like a very strong Aquarius energy. So I think that they just seen you like in your authenticity. I do feel like, I think you've always lived that way, and we actually had strong themes of authenticity and connecting with who you are at the core. Before I even actually started the reading today, I was getting some songs come through that were like kind of sentimental for like, maybe not even sentimental, but they're like coming from a time when I was a lot younger that were kind of sentimental. And so I'll link the YouTube videos so that you can actually listen to the songs if you're interested in. There was like a Rage Against the Machine song, there was Taxi Ride, Get Set, and there was an Alanis Morissette song as well. Anyway, so yeah, I think this person always seen you as like a really beautiful person, and I think they always knew that there was like more to you than, I think they just seen you for who you were, straight, like always. They just, like, I think I get the vibe that this person probably knew you better than you knew yourself. And I kind of got a sense of like almost having fun, but like there's no hard feelings there. So I think that this, I don't know if this person could have like stepped out on you, or they could have just not prioritized you or something like that. But you were always kind of special to them, and they always really appreciated who you were at your core. And I actually think they really wanted to go the distance with you. And if they didn't back then, I think that they do now. It's hard to say. There could be a bit of both here, because I think for some of them, they like wanted to go the distance with you, but they like weren't taking things seriously enough, or themselves, or life, or like your relationship. For most of you, I don't really feel like it necessarily has to be like a romantic connection, although you could kind of have had a thing at some stage. Like a situationship or something, or there just could have been like a strong interest, or you still could have like thought very highly of each other, even if like you never really went there. Just like a great friendship over time or something like that. And I think this person, I don't know, I just really get that they seen you, they seen the entirety of you. Like, you know, when you hear people talk about feeling seen, this person seen you for who you were. Yeah. Anyway, and so I'm not sure if like something happened here where, I don't know if they like were a little bit tricky, and it does seem like they weren't really sure what they wanted in life or something. So they could have slept on you if they didn't step out on you. Or they could have just like, it doesn't even feel like that. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like just being overwhelmed with like choices of life, and kind of living on the edge of like momentum of like forever potential, and almost like going on an adventure, really, and just like having fun and all the good things. But then like maybe they got so swept up in that, that, yeah, I don't know if you were like, if you moved away or if you were forced to move away. For some of you, this energy could be flipped. But we also, so we do have Aquarius here, but we also have Virgo, and we have Gemini and Leo. So just take what resonates there. You don't have to have those signs as placements, but there could be like I think you were a very, like, you had like a bright demeanor. So I think this person, you could have like come across very happy-go-lucky, or they could have. I think it's you. I think you were the one that was like happy-go-lucky, and I think you had like a type of natural beauty or harmony to you, or something like that. I feel like you would have been the type of person that you just would have got along with everybody. And even if you don't now, back in the day you did, or that's how like that person seen you, or how they think of you when, you know, they sort of see you come into mind. And I think there's something here where they feel like you kind of connect with people on like I don't know if it's a deeper level, or if they feel that you connect with people at a wider reach. So, you know, if you do create content or something like that, that reaches a lot of people, then that would be one of those things. So they may have actually stumbled across your content, and they may feel like, some of them, they may just feel like it's almost like what you do, they can't fathom it. It's like a phenomena that they've like not really understood before, and it could potentially blow their mind a little bit, or they could just be like, how on earth are they doing this? Or like, it's kind of like an admiration through being like, they're tricky, like they, yeah, they're not sure how you're like creating this thing out of nothing. Like, I don't think they would have, it's like a mismatch in energy. It's like the same. I think they still see the same thing that they seen in you back then, but it's like they have seen you create on top of just your innate way of being. And that, I think, for they are having a little bit of trouble placing what it is that you do now. And if it's not like what you do in terms of livelihood, hobbies, or career, there'll be something about like strong beliefs, or a practice that you have, or like a fundamental change in your values, or your priorities in life. And the type of things that you like go after, and like, yeah, what it is that you want. I think that this person always seen you as like a benevolent, potentially humanitarian, even if they don't think of you as humanitarian. I think they always seen you as a person that was like quite cooperative or benevolent, or just like, I think just like a harmonious person. I kind of get like ducks off a water's pack, water off a duck's pack, with this energy. But it's like just knowing, just trusting that everything's going to be all good and work out, and like kind of being carefree. And I feel like that's where that carefreeness sort of starts to like slide into, you know, accidentally letting things go that were probably good. So even if they weren't the person that did that to you, you could have like, you know, been so carefree that you kind of let the connection slip through your fingers or something like that. But just take what resonates, and you will know, you know, what happened for you in this situation, I feel. But there's something here where this person, they definitely feel connected to. I was almost getting like a heartthrob energy. So even if like there was never anything actually here, this person could have wanted there to be something, or they could have, you could have been like, they could have had a crush on you that they never spoke of, or like they nurtured the friendship. Like you were more important to them as a person than what they could get out of you, which is like actually lovely, because I don't feel like we get that energy come through very often. So I think that this person got, you know, it kind of gives me the mix of, on one hand, you only live life once, versus like, look at this beautiful person. But I kind of get the energy. I actually wonder for you guys, even if there was like a romantic interest here, obviously we got that there was like a strong crush or some feelings there or something like that, and really valuing you as a person, that even if there was that romantic interest, I think that this person, if they knew that they weren't going to be able to prioritize you the way that they like, you know, believe you deserve to be prioritized, or that they could actually give you what you would need and want at the time knowingly, that they just would have stepped away from you. So that they, or even if they didn't step away from you, but they like wouldn't progress it to what it could have been, because they knew that they were probably inevitably going to like self-sabotage the connection, or they knew that you meant too much to them for them to just go and do something carefree and stupid and just muck it up somehow. And so but I feel like they have really fond memories of you. Like there's really good memories, and even if not everything you ever, like, I feel like you guys would have had lots of good times together. It kind of gives me like kids that you like grew up with, or like when you were kids, yeah, people that were like your really good friends. And I don't know, like a harmonious relationship. Like I feel like you guys just went with the flow, and you, I don't know, yeah, it was like always fun, and there was like always something you guys were up to, and on to the next thing, and like, yeah, just always having fun, really. I think you guys could have been partners in crime a little bit, potentially, not sure, take what resonates. But it's like, yeah, they didn't want that fun to end. But then even if you guys went through times where, you know, maybe something in the group or with a friend or a family member happened that like wasn't good, you guys actually were always empathetic to each other, even if you weren't necessarily an overall empathetic type of person. Like I it's kind of like that thing of just loving each other so much that even if you normally, like, you know, when you're a teenager or something, you're not always like the most considerate person, right? You like, you're just experiencing well for the first time, and you're like kind of breaking out of that, like being taken care of to a degree, depending on what your life is like. Where you're like developing your own independence, and you're kind of navigating your own morals and priorities, kind of like what we were talking about. But I think that you two, or at least them, or they seen it in you, that there was like a high level of respect here. I feel like even if this person in their laxy daisy kind of carefree efforts or energy could have the potential to be disrespectful to other people, I feel like they were always respectful to you. Or that, yeah, your relationship was always built on respect. But I think you guys had fun a lot too. So it was like kind of carefree, spontaneous, adventurous energy, but making sure, not even making sure that, I don't know, it's weird. It's like whenever you're around this person, just nothing bad ever happened. You guys were just like always safe. If something bad ever happened, it was like not when you guys were around each other, it was when you were like around other people or something like that, and they like weren't anywhere nearby, or they were like off doing something else. So I don't know if this, I kind of wonder if this person, I don't get like a strong fierce vibe. I just get that they probably were paying attention to the people around you, and just they, I don't know, this person could have been good at like talking themselves out of like, you know, tough situations, or they could, I think you guys were just like so harmonious that like you probably never really naturally come across that much like trouble. If anything, it might have been like other people in the group or something like that. Okay, anyway, so I feel like they're seeing you now lead the way in something, potentially like living in your purpose, just enjoying life. So I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know, are you really enjoying life, or was it just that they seen you guys enjoy life so much back then that they just kind of always think of you that way now? Or do they look at social media, and of course we don't always like, I don't know, like why would you put up a photo of yourself crying on the internet? So I mean, you, who knows what your last 5 or 10 years or 15 years could have been like. I don't know how old you are, or how long ago this friendship was from, but you know, we're talking about back in the day, and it feels very high school or young adult or early 20s to me, depending how old you are. Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna start repeating myself, so we'll just move on. Very harmonious relationship. Oh yeah, so then I think that they're seeing you lead the way in something, and even if you don't necessarily like class yourself as a leader in what it is that you do, I think that they see you're like the first person of your kind, or the first person doing what you're doing that they have come across. So it's like, maybe let's say that you're doing like these YouTube pick a card tarot readings as an example, but you're like the first person in your city that's kind of doing it, or something like that. Maybe there is someone else doing it, but they didn't really like put it out there or advertise it too much, and then you kind of came in and you just started like being almost shameless in the way that you were like sharing videos or something. That, it doesn't matter how you got it out there. Maybe you just blew up. Maybe people, there's something, I don't know. I was listening to someone like earlier, and they were saying that, you know, when you're using different social media platforms, that when like one person's following one account or engaging with that account, it might like pop up as like a suggested for like a friend of theirs, because there's lots of engagement and interaction there or something like that. So I mean, it could have just been something like that. I feel like they probably come across it by accident, like they weren't searching for it, and then they're like, whoa, what is this? And this is like the first person that they've seen do that. So it doesn't have to be that, but that's just an example. And I feel like it probably blew them out of the water, but there's like, it is very much like that's doing something very different, very unique, very like potentially out there. Or even if they don't see it as out there, I'd actually feel like this person would give you like, they'd be more open than saying that it's like out there, even though other people could sort of see it that way, or depending what it is that you do, right? But there's like whatever it is that you do, it's like your own authentic original energy kind of coming through, or like your creation, or the way you show up, or your beliefs, or something like that, the way you carry yourself. Okay, so we're just gonna take another card. All right, so I don't know, we're meant to be focusing more on like who they are. And look, I would love to be like, yep, they're 33, blonde male that you did grade 9 with, and maybe you're in the shared like group of friends or something like that. But I realize, you know, there's so many people watching, like there's so many different situations that come up in these videos that I feel like we can get really lost in the sauce doing that. And so even though sometimes it's what we want, it's not always helpful. I do feel like for most of you that this person like is a masculine, and if they're not a masculine, it was like a you know, it's like when people say pigeon pair, so there's like a feminine and a masculine. So like, I mean, I don't know, just take what resonates. It doesn't have to be like, there could even be like slightly androgynous vibes, but that's just, like I said, take what resonates. Okay, so we have celebration, judgment, and peace. I think, so you guys definitely, if you were the type to like go out and party, you definitely could have, or you just could have had the good times together. We did talk about that. But there was also, I do get a vibe that this person could have seen you. I don't know if they've like judged you or something that you've done. I think if anything, they've probably seen, I wonder if they feel like you've judged other people, because I want to show you what I'm looking at. I get like, here's a school of fish and they're all doing what they're meant to, but then this person's like, you know, far away and they're different, they're not a fish, and they're just like watching them. And it seems more of like a healthy judgment, like, you know, it could be in either energy, whether it's like critical or complementary. It just feels like a healthy observation, maybe achieved through a judgment, because just because we have a judgment doesn't mean that we like condemn a person and put them in a box and leave them there to like just forever be that label. There could have been some sort of judgment made, or they felt like you made a judgment call about them and kind of moved on. Definitely a strong energy of that. I think we were getting that earlier. But it also could have just been like a, why are they doing that, or why aren't they doing that? But I think it comes more from a place of like curiosity and observation. And if there was a judgment, I feel like they're probably pretty quick to just like give you the benefit of the doubt, or they were pretty open. I was getting that energy before. They do seem pretty progressive, or like they would just want to support you. I think because it comes from you, even if it did seem like out there, they would just be like, oh, that's cool. And they just like really hold who you are at heart with like such grace or dignity or meaning or love or something like that, that like they're just like, oh, look at them go. So anyway, yeah. And whenever they think of you, it's like you just bring peace to them, even if things are chaotic for you, even if things were like chaotic in their lives, or even if things were chaotic when you guys were hanging out. I think they always think of you as a person that like brought the calm. Like we kept getting that harmony or harmonizing type of energy or relationship. So this actually is like really lovely energy. I think this person thinks the world of you, and I do get the energy that they see you at your core. I want to get some more cards here and kind of, so like, you know, hopefully by now you would have a rough idea, although I realize like, you know, when we start talking tens of years ago, or if you've moved, or haven't like kept in contact with people and things like that, that it can be a little bit confusing. But it feels like a person that, even if you couldn't put your finger on it now, if you bumped into them or if they messaged you, you would probably get that feeling where you'd be like, oh, this is what it is. This person almost feels like home, but like not necessarily home. So I don't know. I want to say this person feels like home in the way that it's just part of who you are, where you grew up, and like good times, and like you were just so much yourself. And I don't know if, hopefully that makes sense, because I realize home's not always like the best place for people. But this was like, you, no matter when in life you come across this person again, you guys will, your connection will never change. Like you'll always have that like love or friendship or something forever. So okay, more cards. What do we want? Yeah, I think they see you just like stepping into your purpose. Okay, so that's good confirmation. I just asked, do they intend to reach out? And they said no, but I mean, see what happens. Do we want to know anything else? No, I feel like there's something here I haven't touched on. I think they're definitely interested in you, even if a lot has changed in between now and then, or that time. Yeah, I know, just overall pretty friendly, pretty happy, good times, fun connection, loving you for who you are at your core, or accepting you for who you are at your core. And yeah, okay. Well, that's everything that I actually have for you today, Group 1, on who it is from back in the day that's like thinking about you. They are actually getting me to like throw out some letters. So I don't always like doing this. If it doesn't resonate, don't let it wreck the reading for you, especially if you already, like it already did resonate, or you already connected who it was. But, you know, for those of you interested in hanging around, I was getting TRHALEY. They're saying that's enough. Also getting the number 24. So it could have been around 24 years old. it could have been 24 years, or I don't know, like 2 years and 4 months, or 20, I don't know, what else is there? Like, if you weren't 24, I kind of get between like 12 and 24. So maybe from like the time that you like met each other till you like finished hanging out or something. 24 seems to be significant, and I'm not really sure. Oh, okay, so I don't know, 2 and 4 on their own could be something there. Okay, that's everything that I have, guys. Hopefully this was a good reading for you. If it resonated, definitely subscribe if you haven't, or just like the video, and I will see you all in another reading. Take care. Okay, welcome group 2. If you chose the little pendant that had the gemstones in it, then this will be your reading for today. I was kind of getting the vibe here that this person could have been, it could have been like a feminine friend, although they might not necessarily be feminine, just take what resonates. Either way, they feel like a platonic friendship. Even, I almost want to say that this person could have actually felt strongly attracted to you, and that could have played part in some envious, jealous type of, you know, behavior or feelings that kind of arose in them, because it was like one thing that they could see everyone else or other people kind of fawning for you, but it was like a whole, I don't know if that's the right word, but like, you know, wanting your attention and stuff, or something like just being interested. But then it was like a whole nother thing that it was like confirmed by their own beliefs, because they're like, well, yeah, they are really attractive. Or even if you guys had a moment where the friendship could have potentially lent into something else, like I'm almost getting same sex kind of like, I don't know, experimentation or something like that, that could have also awoken some type of jealousy or possessiveness within the friendship. Now, I'm just going to kind of gloss over some of the signs that I'm getting. So there is like water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I mostly feel like Pisces, and we do have the mutable card here as well. So there's also Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. And with the North Node, we have designed to have. So yeah, we have the High Priestess as well. So I wonder, and the King of Cups. So very much like, I feel like, I don't know how to explain this or why it's really coming through. We also have Taurus here as well. And Aries and Pisces, where we said Pisces. Okay, I almost get something here about like Cancer into Pisces, which is bizarre. I don't really know enough about astrology to understand how that would probably link up. I know there is such a thing as like youngest to eldest zodiac signs within their suit, like their elemental suit. So I'm not sure if that would have something to do with it. But I feel like this person may have seen you as, I don't know, I'm getting caretaker. So if you weren't their caretaker, they could have had some sort of caretaker role. It's weird because I feel like you guys would have been young, you could have been best friends, you could have been good friends or friends within the same circle or something like that. Where even if neither of you were literally caretaking a person that they had lost their independence or anything like that, they could have had relatives that needed caretaking sometimes. And if it wasn't that, I think that they just seen you as like a safe space, like an emotionally safe space in their life. And they may not have had that with somebody else, or their family or other friends that they had. You may have kind of taken this person under your wing. Yeah, I just feel like you gave them a safe space, and I'm getting like chills and goosebumps now. They're definitely seeing something like that. And I think the thing is too is that they see like a type of fluidity and a type of wisdom and a type of like acceptance and just going with the flow for like what life is. And I think that they see you as a person that had like a really unique type of beauty. Like I don't think a lot of people could actually, they probably didn't look like you, or if they did look like you, there was something about your personality that even if other people tried to kind of copy or I was going to say imitate, and I almost had intimidate come out. So I just feel like they couldn't emulate it. Like they couldn't project it. They couldn't, there's something here. I think that this person could have found that quality in you or about you a little bit intimidating, or something about your presence, or something about your beauty, or your uniqueness, or the way that you carried yourself, or a type, like the type of attractiveness. It's like a different, I think they seen you as like a strong contender, or a person that like you could have been potentially seen as like a soft leader, or if you weren't considered a leader, you could have been like I'm trying to say, like a popular person, or a person that a lot of people knew or generally considered like a good person, but you were maybe a little bit like softer in nature or something. Maybe you weren't like so outspoken or so loud. Maybe you're a little bit quieter. Like we do have the mutable sign card here as well, which is like surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. So that's like confirmation on the fluidity, and that surrender is very much like going with the flow and not being, it's very accepting. That welcoming change is very accepting. Okay, and then I feel like they may have seen you kind of, I don't know if you were always into this sort of stuff, like if you're watching a tarot video, or if you had like an intuition, or maybe you guys shared some sort of like experience. Like I almost get the feeling of, you know, if you were like a kid or a teenager and you and your best or closest kind of couple of friends were like sitting around bored one day and you decided to like try out a Ouija board or something like that. Like maybe that could have been where it come from, even if you don't consider yourself like an intuitive person. So something like that. But they also, even if it's not that, they could have seen like an evolved version of you now as opposed to back then. So I don't feel like you guys keep in contact anymore. I don't feel like there's particularly bad blood, although to some degree I feel like there probably should be some sort of something needed to be said or needs to be said, or maybe the relationship should have been let die, like let go of a long time ago. But I also feel like you probably don't have the entire picture of some of the things that this person would have said and done behind your back to kind of try to garner that attention back. It very much gives me the vibe of this person would kind of spread rumors about you, put you down behind your back. As soon as they could tell people were like interested, or they knew that you generally would have lots of people be interested in you, so they would make quick work of it. And sometimes it would just be to like make themselves feel better, right? Like not everything is like super ill-intended, where people are like out to get us, and you know, we don't need to, you know, forever be living in paranoia. Like, it's not like a person who's like sitting back and planning, how do I do this and how do I do that? Although I do think this person could have potentially like kind of pondered, like their mind naturally, I kind of get the vibe that this person could have been a little bit potentially, I don't know if they read the vibes in the room, like they cottoned onto cues, like social cues quite quickly, or they knew like what people wanted or something like that. And so they were like pretty quick to like adjust to whatever that was. But then they were also kind of quick to like knock it on its head if it had to do with something about you. So it kind of gives me like frenemy, but like you just might not have known it. And if you did know it, like you might not have, I don't know if you didn't understand it or didn't see it for what it was, or if there was something here with like indebted loyalty to them for whatever reason. Even if it was like a lack of self-worth on your own side of things, or I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you could have really let it go and you just kind of made harmony and accepting the situation for what it was. Chances are most people in this group, you probably know that you wouldn't be best friends with them now if you like had them come back into your life, or if you met them only now in life. I feel like you could have been like very different as a person back then as opposed to now, or maybe you've grown up a lot and they haven't, or something like that, or your values are just so different in life they like don't really align. But I also feel like, I don't know, I think there's something here where they knew that you were like always destined for some sort of greatness or something. They very much I don't know. Yeah. Where else do we have? What was that? Yeah, okay. So this person could have had a strong Pluto placement. Like they could have had Pluto in Venus or the first house or something like that, or even Pluto and Mars. That would, I don't really know if that would work, or like if that's what I'm trying to, the energy I'm picking up on. Just sort of take what resonates. Doesn't matter what it was or if it was there, but I feel like there, even if it was something about like the Pluto in your charts overlapping, or the way it interacted, or the way that something else in your chart kind of set their Pluto off, I feel like this person very often, they could have Pluto in a water sign as well. Like Pluto and Scorpio or something. But just because it's, I don't know, it's weird. Just because a person has Pluto and Scorpio or something like that, or Pluto in the first house, doesn't mean they're like a bad person. But maybe when they were younger, I don't know, maybe they were like a little bit sneaky or something. It's weird because I literally have Pluto in the first house in Scorpio. Like I'm Scorpio rising with Pluto. And I don't really feel like, you know, I read a lot of stuff about Scorpio that like kind of comes up on my news feed, or hear people talk about it. And while I feel like a lot of it is very true, that I have witnessed witnessed in other people, I don't always feel like I have that in myself. And now if you look at like Vedic astrology, meanwhile, Vedic astrology, from what I understand, a lot of it's done in sidereal, not in Placidus. So I wouldn't even have a Scorpio rising in Vedic astrology. So I don't know if that's part of it. But Scorpio is ruled by Mars in Vedic astrology. And there's something about where your Mars, depending on how your chart's aspected, can kind of temper out. I don't know if it's like after 28 or after 30 or something. There's like a type of maturity process happening. It could be to do with Saturn as well, because I do have a lot of strong Saturn in my chart. But the point of it is like there's either a difference, there's a contrast in maturity, or there's something else that like healthily aspects that energy. So it's like you guys embody the same energy. So it doesn't surprise me that you were kind of attracted together, or it was like, what is it, like birds of the same feather kind of flock together. But it was almost like different. It was like something internally, something in your like internal psychological, emotional, I don't know, something in your makeup was different, where it's like that or you guys, like maybe they, again, stayed stagnant and you kind of grew out of it, or went through periods of transformation, or you worked, I don't know, whatever that is. I feel like we're just not getting anywhere, sort of banging on about the same thing, but that's okay. You know, sometimes spirit does that to kind of do like the thought-provoking thing, or it's like we need to hear it said a different way and I'm not really getting it the way that they want it to be, but we'll just take that and move on. So so hope is like a hummingbird and to watch over you. For some of you, this could be a person that is in spirit and they have watched a transformation of who you have become. Like some of you could have been this person, and that we've kind of been talking about if we flip the energy a little bit. Like maybe they've seen you in your younger years living out certain things, but then maybe as you've gotten older, this person in spirit who's like thinking of you has kind of seen you develop quite strongly, like where you are walking in alignment with your North Node or something. Hard to say. But we also had Taurus here as well. Yeah. I kind of, for some of you, could have like South Node in a water sign and a North Node in an Earth sign as well. Okay. I think that's kind of where we're at for that. So I'm just going to take another card and see if we can move this along. This person also could have had long hair, if that's helpful. And if they are not in spirit, and it could be that they had someone in spirit. We did talk about that carer thing before. So maybe when you guys were kind of younger, even if it was in like early 20s or something, they could have had like a parent or a family member go through stages of needing care to kind of transitioning into spirit or something. So they could have lost a close person, or vice versa. Maybe both of you could have some type of like connection, potentially trauma bonding stuff. I don't really know. So we're just going to take what resonates and move on and take another card. Okay, so redemption and equality. Yeah, I kind of get the essence that this person would like to come back to you, and that they would like to, like they would have a strong hope that there would still be something there, and that they do really care for you despite everything. But I still feel like there's this thing here where that their version, their internalized version of you guys not being at the same level, I think that if they came back in your life now, they would most likely be fair and equal. Do I think that they would ever probably own up to things that happened in the past? Probably not. While I think they may treat you better this time around, they would never come out, they would never be honest with the way that they did not when you were younger, and they would just kind of sweep it under the rug and hope that you didn't notice, and there would be a hope for that like friendship of longevity into the future. But I think there's something here when this person's on their own where they actually think of you a lot. So I actually don't even, I know for some of you they could have seen you like pop up on socials or something, but I actually feel like this person doesn't need someone to talk about you, or they don't need to see you pop up on socials. I actually think you might have been such a fundamental part of their life or their earlier years, or like that thing of like being teenagers together or kids together or young adults or something, where they think of you. You guys have so many memories. You are actually a big part of each other's lives. There could have been a lot of love despite the animosity on their part and their lack of self-worth. And you know what's the crazy thing too is that you guys might have both had like a lack of self-worth, but like you didn't do anything to kind of like sabotage them. I actually feel like you, even if you did do questionable things at times because, you know, you were like young and like learning the world and whatever, like, I don't know, like you just... people go out and do young, dumb things and then they kind of learn from it and move on with life, right? So even if they seen you do things, they might have still known that deep down it wasn't coming from like a malintended, sneaky place or something like that, or like they knew that you were good at heart or something like that. And I think they still think very highly of you in that manner. Yeah, I don't know. This person could have had you come through in a reading if they went to one. I don't know if they would specifically go to a reader about you, although some of them could have. It really depends on the person. So like some of you, this person, I feel like if this person was going to a reader about you, there would have to be some sort of unsettling part of it where they feel like you guys haven't closed out the circle, they don't want to let go, or there's unfinished business there. But for most of you, I actually feel like even though they want to come back and they have that hope that like you guys could rekindle and carry on the friendship for years and blah blah blah, and that you would just accept them kind of with arms open, I feel like the people in that category wouldn't necessarily be the type of people to even go get a reading. And if they did, they probably wouldn't ask about that. It would be that like it coming through spontaneously because there was something about it they needed to learn from, or I don't know. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I actually think this person, it's like I think they wonder. I think they kind of expect you to say something to them, to get up them, to lay down a boundary, to get upset, or to call them out on something, even if it was from like 20 years ago. I'm not really sure. Even if it is just like a disconnection, because we do have redemption there. And part of it is that I feel like they would actually want to make it up to you because they do love you. But also, like I said, they're not going to just omit it or admit it. It's going to be, I don't know if omit's the right word, but like this person, it's what is it? They call it like lying by omission. So they'd happily leave those details out if you didn't bring it up to them. But if you did, that I feel like they would still not incriminate themselves. They would still not add fuel to the fire. They would still not bring up extra things or volunteer extra information for things that you might not know about on the chance that you don't. They don't want it to look worse than it does. But if you called them out on something that did happen, then I feel like they would probably just admit it and they would just like want to let bygones be bygones and move on. So there's another song, Superstar? Is it? I don't know if it's Superstar. I'll find it after this and I'll put it in the description under the timestamp for group 2. Yeah. Okay. More cards. So I feel like we're going to get into more tarot. Okay, cool. I feel like we're going to take a few more cards. It's like there's more to be said here. I felt like that was kind of it wrapped up in a bag. So, I mean, if you're happy with that, you know who it is, that's fine. But I feel like they're going to offer up more information here. Okay, so we have... Yeah, I just feel like you might have been a popular person. You might have been really good at like socializing, or you could have been like a favorite, or they could have seen you just overcome different challenges that they were like nervous or scared. Like they might not have wanted to be brave and kind of put their foot out. They might have seen you as like very confident or something like that, even if you didn't resonate with that. And they just seen you like make friends easily or just have fun easily. You could be in the life of the party. You could have, I feel like you guys don't actually realize, like, I don't think you had an accurate self-image, and this person would not have illuminated that to you. I feel like they very much would have been happy with you being not as confident or not having a better self-worth. And then even though I feel like at times they may have said things to you that it was just like, you have to do better kind of thing, like, but I feel like it was just still mostly at times that it suited them. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of sad that people that can love us that much they still just want things to work in their favor a bit. But like I said, I don't feel like it was like necessarily, I don't know, I feel like for some of them it really was their goal. And maybe it could have been a thing where it was like they dipped in and out of it being like something they would actively work towards versus something they just couldn't help themselves, and all of a sudden they'd like word vomit and they didn't know why they said what they said, and then they did it, and then they were like, well, I can't backtrack from here, so now I just need to kind of like sweep it under the rug and pretend that never happened. But really they still got what they wanted in the end. And I don't know, I don't feel like they don't really, the thing is that they never really put in effort to like damp out that kind of behavior. And I feel like they were kind of playing Russian roulette a little bit. Like they were like, well, maybe if I just like do it this time and don't do it again, then all of a sudden it comes up again. They're like, well, I got away with it last time. And then they're like just playing chances that you might, this is the thing. They were kind of gambling with the fact of whether you would or would not find out. And they were still like weren't willing to kind of stop or to, I don't know, just like change their behavior in general. And like, I think it did actually weigh heavy on their mind, or even if it didn't weigh heavy on their mind, I feel like it's come up often enough over the years, maybe in times where they were still or something like that. And it's like, I don't know. There's something where I feel like you as a person were probably quite thought-provoking for them, for their development. And so even if at times they were in their feelings a lot or kind of consumed with whatever it was, or maybe I kind of get the feeling that they would have like strong or overwhelming feelings about you, and they would just be like so annoyed. It was like sometimes it was more annoyed at the fact that they were even a little bit jealous or envious of you, or that you just were so good at stuff and that they weren't, or maybe it was a looks thing, or that socializing thing seems to be a big quality there as well, where it was like, even though they love you so much, they're also like, oh, why do they just have to be like that? Like, I think they thought of you so highly that it annoyed them that you were like so different, that they weren't like you or something. I don't know. And they like weren't really happy with, I don't know. I don't think they were happy with the offers that they had come in. And so that could have also been one of the things that would actually spark that, like, not being happy with what they had, and potentially being annoyed at you even though you literally weren't doing anything. The thing is too is that this person would have played games a bit as well. So I think it's weird because I kind of get like little bits of like different types of energy from them, where sometimes it was an accident and sometimes they did it on purpose and sometimes it was like a bit of a game, but it was always to do with other people, even though you were kind of like the thing that made them, you were kind of like the thing that took away, or they felt took away from their attention, or I don't know, something like that. But I definitely feel like this person could have started a rumor or two about you back then, even if they would never admit to it now, unless they were like, you know, I feel like something like that, where it could have been anyone, they still probably wouldn't admit to it unless the person that they told actually came out with it. And they were like, oh, now I kind of have to, but it would have to be done in a specific way where they couldn't kind of wiggle out of it. And I still feel like they would be like, oh, wasn't it this person or something? Like they would still kind of try to like redirect or deflect, or I don't know. Anyway. Okay, let's see what else we get. I think they've seen you grow a lot. I think they know it would be a gamble as to whether you would accept them back. But I don't know, it's weird because we kind of were getting the feelings before that, like maybe you would, but they just don't know if... I think they realize they don't know you as well as either what they thought they did, or they don't know you as well as what they did back then. Like there could be a lot of time going between where, for whatever reason, you lost contact and stuff. So I think they realize that even if they were to try something to come back, there's a real potential that it might not be the angle that and that's the thing, it's like they don't feel like they can just come at you honestly or just being themselves, or because they want to reach out with connection. It's like they feel like they would have to like come at it from an angle, and because they want to come at it from an angle, it's like a real risk as to whether it would be received well or not. So I think that they probably just realized the last time they seen you that your demeanor was different, or that something about you was very different. Yeah, you might have been a lot more grounded or solid in your sense of self or something. Or you could have become a bit more ambitious, or you could have started like working on things more than what you did back then. You could have started investing in yourself. What is that? I think they see that you would be harder to kind of manipulate, or it'd be harder for them to get away with things now than what it was back then, because they do see that you're a lot stronger in some aspects. I think they know that if they tried to pull the same stuff that they did back then, the same ish that they did back then, that you 100% would be onto it. You might call them out, or you wouldn't let it happen again, kind of thing. Ultimately, what they really want is just that like reconnection, familiarity of like a long-term relationship, and for it to go well and be valued, and to kind of receive the same, like I feel like maybe when you were friends, they did potentially get a lot of admiration out of you. So even when they didn't feel good, even if it was kind of accidentally, they, you know, in their mind, they determined that it was you that made them didn't feel good, even though you didn't do anything to them. It was just, you know, showing up as yourself and people just naturally liking you. You could have also like doted on them or really loved them or given them a sense of admiration or something like that, where it did make them feel very good about themselves. So it was kind of weird because you were kind of the thing that made them feel very insecure, but then you were also very loving to them and you held space for them, like I was sort of saying at the start. So, and I think it's hard for them because I think they see you and they're like, why can't I have what they have? How do I get that? And they want to take action and they just want to like take it for themselves, or they're trying to calculate. I think it's that angling. They're trying to work out what way to come at it, and they see you very independent. They might want to work together, but they know that it wouldn't. I think it torments them. It like hangs on their mind. Like it might come up a bit every now and then for them, and they just, I think they do see you as part of their full picture if it all did really come together the way they wanted to. Like if they could say how life was going to be, and not even just what they thought, but if like life was everything they wanted, you would naturally be there, part of that. You probably are quite a stable grounding presence for them. And they do see you as like kind of the example of self-love, or that like how to create your own self-love. I think there's something, it's like you would just forever pour into them, or they, it would make them feel supported enough that they could love themselves more or something like that. So, yeah. All right, that's everything that I'm actually getting for you, group 2. Hopefully some of this is like helpful for you. Yeah, I don't know. We might just touch on a couple more of the signs. At this point, I think we probably have a lot of the signs come out. Like we do have Leo, Saggy, we already said that. We had all the mutable signs. We did have Capricorn. All right, so the mutable signs, for those of you that don't know, that was like Virgo, Gemini, already said Sagittarius, and what was the other one? Pisces. We talked about Pisces. We talked about Cancer, Scorpio. I think we had Taurus. Yeah, heaps of the signs. Anyway, okay. That's everything that I have for you guys. Hopefully this actually, like, you were able to work out, or you knew immediately who this was. I think that you would have a pretty good idea by now. And if you didn't, I feel like it wouldn't take you long of kind of pondering this. Or like if you caught up with this person again, like, you know, sometime in the next 3 months or something like that, and you talk to them, I think you would work out who it was very quickly. It would be like a stark contrast, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, that's who that person is, because you would be able to see the difference in like how things have come about and changed over time. And you might reminisce a little bit on like what things were like back then and the way that your friendship was. It's kind of that thing when you like mature and you learn about like the ways that other people treat each other, and maybe the thing is, maybe back then you had similar values, and like you just maybe, you know, valuing each other was kind of put to the back of the priority list. Or at least for them it was. But like now, you know, what you prioritize is these strong friendships that are like reciprocal or respectful or something like that. And it would be a stark contrast to you. And I don't think, like I said at the start, I don't think you would like willingly just like want to be best friends again. Or I keep saying best friends, you could have just been good friends, but I feel like a strong friendship anyway. So take what resonates. Hopefully this is resonated. It was a good reading. If it did, definitely like the video or like subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you all in another reading. Thanks. Okay, welcome group 3. If you chose like the turquoise tree button, and then this is your group on, you know, what does this person from back in the day think of you? And right as I was shuffling, I was getting Gemini. And it was funny because when I rolled the astro dice, we got Gemini, and I had to quickly look at it because sometimes I get the symbols of like Gemini and Pisces mixed up for whatever reason, probably because like the duality. But they kind of look the same in my mind. I don't know why. Anyway, and it got Gemini on the astro dice right after I was thinking it. So that's pretty cool. I kind of wish I was already like had the video started so that you guys could hear it. But anyway, you win some, you lose some, right? And right as I was like putting the deck of cards down, I accidentally knocked the plain pendant for group 4 off the table. And I was getting something about like whoever's in this group in group 3 would like probably happily not group 4 or vice versa. There's something here where like group 3 and 4 are probably linked with like the someone else in the picture or like a mirrored energy or something. So even if it's not the exact same person, it's like one of you guys would happily knock each other. And I don't know if that's like a social standing is kind of what I'm assuming, but we'll just get on with the reading and sort of see what comes out. We also have Mercury here, which is like awesome because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini as it is, and it is in the first house. So that could just be, I guess, like it could be like a rising sign, like a Gemini rising, or Mercury could be in your first house. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be those things. Could just be the energy of Gemini. So I feel like you guys could have had like a strong communicable energy where you guys really, you could have talked a lot, you could have conversed a lot, you could have had really great conversations. You could have had conversations that were quite complex where you were able to kind of acknowledge a lot of the nuances between like this topic and this topic, and they are like there is a strong duplicit or duality to whatever it is that you're talking about, but there's like so much nuance to it in depth that you guys could kind of talk about it all day and then move on, like the conversation would never run out. That's kind of what I get. And if this is not an energy representative of like how you would see your person, it could be how they think of you. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Moon, and the Nine of Swords here as well. So they could have a Gemini Moon, they could have a Saggy Moon. Like either of these placements, they could be in the Moon or in the first house, or they could have Mercury in one of them. But I feel like there's some aspect about this person that they kind of come across untamable. Like they could be quite strong, and they are not the type of person that would pull the reins back on themselves, let alone allow anyone else to kind of bridle them or tie them down or something like that. Like they very much are going to direct their own ship. Like they are in charge of themselves and they do what they want to do. They don't let anyone else tell them what they can or can't do. I feel like for this person to get into a relationship, they would have to feel quite free within the relationship. Like they could kind of do as they please and still be like quite valued and respected in a meaningful way. They would have to, it's freedom. That's what I'm getting, freedom, okay? And they could have a lot of strong feelings. And if they don't just have strong feelings in general, it could be like strong feelings for you. There could also be that mix of like a fire moon as well. And excuse me, if it's not fire moon, like a water moon, I mean, at this point, it doesn't even matter. It could be air moon as well. Okay, so take what resonates. Let's move on. The strong feelings that this person could, if you guys know that they are into sort of like spiritual, new age, witchy, occultist stuff or anything like that, I don't know, whatever like label you want to throw on it, and you know that the moon might be important to them, they could follow the lunar phases as well. For some of you, I get that this connection might not be that old. If it is old, it could potentially be like 1 year. I don't know if it's like the connection's only, this is from back in the day. So maybe you guys haven't spoken for like up to a year, or you haven't spoken for 9 years, or maybe it's only been, maybe it's not so back in the day. Maybe it's like 1 month or 9 months or something. I don't know. I don't want to make this be something that it's not. I just feel like even though it is from back in the day, it might not be like 20 years ago. It might be 2 years ago, okay? Something like that. Or maybe you guys were only like really good friends. Oh, maybe that's what it is. I could have got that mixed up or backwards just then. It could have actually been a case that you guys were like really close only for a year, or really close only for like 9 months, or I mean, it could have been 9 years, just, yeah. Okay, I don't want to get it too confused or too muddled. Just if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, we'll keep going. Okay, so I feel like this person, you guys, you could have got along like a house on fire. Lots of conversation, lots of good conversation. You guys could have really like led the way in terms of like interest with each other. Like you could have really loved a lot of the same stuff. You could have been quite passionate about the same things. You could have connected over passions, even if they weren't necessarily always the same. There was like a very good energy here. There was like a very good, it was just a connection where it was like fun or spontaneous, or it was, I don't know, like they, I don't know, I feel like this person would just like stuff and it would be great because they always like something, or I don't know. Anyway, but it looks like they probably got in their feels about it and something about it. I think that they seen you guys as opposing something, or with a dualistic nature too, and if they didn't feel like you were opposing them or opposing something they stood for, I think they thought they coined or clocked like a opposing nature in you, and that they wanted to like stamp it out. But I actually feel like this person was kind of acting out of their shadow when this happened. So I just feel like you were just trying to look after the connection. So it's even weird that they would kind of get, I want to say, in their head like that about it. But I mean, even if they don't really watch or follow the lunar phases, there could have been like a particular full moon at the time that really rocked them energetically or emotionally or something. I know people like kind of laugh at it and stuff, and like just take what resonates. I feel like I have to keep telling this group this, so like don't mind me repeating myself. It's literally what's coming through. I kind of also get like a bit of a judgment energy, but I'm just going to park it. It doesn't matter. We're moving on. But like maybe that's what you were feeling from this person, or maybe that's what they felt from you. Like it could be sometimes when I'm doing these readings, I can potentially like mirror the energy of like yourself, the viewer, or the person that could be coming through as well. So it's always good to be mindful of that. But it's like, they could have felt like you were being judgmental, or maybe they were in an energy of being judgmental, kind of thinking that they like knew better or something like that, or they were seeing something that like wasn't there, or they just, I think they could have thought that you thought you were better than them, and I realize they could have been fighting for something that they thought was quite noble or was important to them or something like that. But I actually feel like the reality of it is they were trying to stamp out something that was like really precious to you or about you, or they just, I don't know, like, I don't know. I just want to move on from it. So I just want to like move forward from it. And that could also be what they are actually feeling now when they think of you, when they like, when something, when you pop up on their mind, or they see you on socials or something, they could be like, oh, I just want to move past this already. And they could be generally quite like an optimistic person. So if they are an optimistic person, they might just like want to go have good times, move on, and just like leave the past in the past. And I'm getting that message of like letting bygones be bygones, which I also had for group 2. So if you feel drawn to group 2, there could be messages there for you that resonate. But otherwise, I don't feel like there's a strong overlap. But there's a song, I'll link it in the description box for group 3. I don't know if it's Superstar or a different song, but anyway. And so, yeah, this person could have just seen that you took up too much, like, I don't know. They could have seen you in a really high light, and because they seen you in a high light, they just wanted to tamp that down a bit or something. But anyway, I feel like they put you guys in an opposing position, even if that was like not the goal, not what was the reality of what was actually happening. That's what they did. So, and then, yeah, it was like they kind of flipped on a head. It was like, I'm kind of trying to make the connection between how the relationship was and this point in which they decided to like begin this whatever this opposing thing was, that whether they decided to oppose you or they felt like you were opposing them in some way. I actually get that's more what it is. Whatever it was like sparked out of feelings. I think they didn't think about it. They acted quickly, they acted brash, they made some sort of assumption. They didn't get all the information. They didn't try to look at it through the lens of like neutrality or love or compassion or acknowledging yourself as a person, as a whole person, with respect for who you are, for your friendship or connection, especially considering how good it was. It actually seems incredibly short-sighted of this person to have just jumped to conclusions the way that they did, or to kind of just act with such level of disregard. It was like, you would just think that you had met them 5 days ago, is kind of the energy that I get in like the way that they acted. Like you just, I don't know, it's weird. But it's like crazy because it was like provoked out of their feelings. So I wonder if there was like something that you kind of said to them that illuminated it, like shed light on something. And I don't know if you shedding light on something, I don't even feel like you would do it on purpose either. I don't even feel like, I don't know. Like when I say you wouldn't do it on purpose, I feel like your goal would not to be to make them feel bad. I feel like you probably, this group, that you value the truth in something. And so when you've said whatever the truth is and they've gone, that like, it gives me like vampire going out into the light or the daytime energy where it's like incredibly painful or like, don't let that happen kind of thing. It was like they didn't want light shed on whatever it was, or it made them feel a certain type of way that felt like they kind of had to, I don't know if they caused an argument or a fight, or if they just like said something really brash that was like that tamping down energy, right? But ultimately it was kind of like, I don't know, it was a betrayal. Not kind of like, it was. Whatever it was that, however that transition happened from having this like a really holistically good relationship to this person being in their feelings, deciding that they wanted to oppose you or you were opposing them, whatever that was, it seems like a bit of a mess. I don't know if they even really know. There could potentially be that like whole duplicit nature within themselves of like, maybe they kind of flip between this person, because you never really know what someone's like bringing up as like, or I don't know, maybe you thought they were more mature than what they were. They could actually talk a big game. That's okay. I feel like that just came out and I didn't really mean to say that. I feel like they could speak words of wisdom, or it sounds like it's wisdom. Maybe they could be a good imitator, but they could genuinely have certain things that they do come from a real place of wisdom. They could have high ideals for like good philosophy or something like that. So they could, and this is that duplicit thing where it's like they could genuinely have a lot of good philosophies, and then part of it could be that they're good at like kind of imitating or parroting things they've heard from other people. So it would actually be hard to tell, because it's like the half-truth thing, right? There is some truth to the fact that there is really original stuff that is a high ideal, or it is a philosophy that is actually fantastic, and they do genuinely embody that. But then they also could have that imitation thing that happens as well. And they could probably, I wonder if they kind of flip between not trusting because maybe they've had friends or friendships where either they felt like they've been betrayed before, or they feel like they may have actually betrayed the person, and even if it never got called out, they know that they did it. So then it becomes that point of projection where they think, well, if I do this, other people must. Without getting too lost in the source, they might flip between trusting and benefit of the doubt versus no benefit of the doubt, and an almost condemning nature of they're acting out of their shadow, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of mirroring here. I just feel like we're not getting to the point. So this person might talk in circles. They might try to redirect conversation. They might not want to come at something head on, even though it's weird because I feel like whenever, if there was like that argument or something that happened, I feel like they probably were trying to approach you head on, but there's something about it where it's like they're not being direct in their communication. Talking around it. Yeah. Okay. I want to take more cards. I don't feel like this is where it ends. We do have Mercury here, so Virgo could also be something that pops up. I did talk about Sagittarius. We do have the moon, so we could have Cancer as well. And we could potentially have Aries, but I don't really feel Aries energy. But I mean, take what resonates. It's just extra points of confirmation for those that resonate with it. It doesn't have to actually be a point of confirmation for you. Okay, so what do we want then? Okay, here we go. Okay, so it could also be Aquarius or Uranus. Uranus. Joy. Have fun with that one. Okay, so we've also got the fixed signs here. So Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. So like one person could have more mutable and the other person could have more fixed, but I mean, it doesn't have to be. Oh, okay, there's more here that's behind the scenes that hasn't been said. Or okay, so this person could have really been trying to like network or like collaborate, or I kind of get social networking, but like I don't know, they could have genuinely just wanted friendships or something, but I feel like it was for the point of gain. I feel like it was because they wanted to have a solid foundation in like that particular group or something like that. But it also could be, I just want to take a second and look at this energy from a different angle before I go any further, because it could have also been that you guys were the part of the same group. You could have worked together. You could have known a lot of the same people, been part of the same community. You could have been part of like a spiritual or religious sect is what I'm hearing, the word sect. You could have been a part of an inner crowd of some sort of like large network or group where it was like maybe there was a few of you that were like kind of close that did things outside of whatever said group it was. This person could have potentially hoped to benefit from being in relationship with you, where it's weird because I don't really get social networking as in social climbing vibes, but I kind of feel like that's what they were aiming for, but maybe from a bit more of a genuine place where, like, again, they wouldn't direct it addressly. They would never say that they were trying to socially climb. But I feel like they were trying to make genuine connections, but they're always mindful of the opportunities that it breeds, and that they wanted to solidify their place within the group or something like that, or they wanted people to come to them, or they wanted to be the person in control of, I don't know, like some type of resources or some type of say, or they wanted to be recognized as like a gracious leader, or like we also have Taurus here. So even if it was like none of those things, they could have just wanted to have been seen as like having the most, or being elegant, or or maybe even like an it girl, which is weird because it's not an energy I connect with Taurus. Like Taurus is generally like pretty beautiful in nature, but they also could have been quite stubborn. I feel like we're just talking this whole time about this person. This person could have been younger, and if they weren't younger, there could have been like they could actually be older than you, but they could be like younger in the mind or something like that. Anyway, and so the other side of it is that, again, just like going back and reading the cards in a different way and just seeing what we get. Because for some of you, like different parts will resonate for your situation, but for some of you, all of these different reads will actually kind of blend into the one energy of this personal situation that happened, or different perspectives or something. And so for some of you, you could have just been at like a get together or like with people, and maybe this person kind of looked up to you or was like looking for directions or something. And I don't know, like I feel like you could have been just pretty equal, like you considered yourselves equal or something like that, but they it's that internalized projection thing where they like feel like you kind of were on a pedestal, or you held this like strong solid foundation. Something just weird. I like almost don't want to read this energy because I feel like I'm reading into every detail. And I mean, Mercury does, I guess detail is a big part of like Mercury, right? But anyway, and so moving on from that, this person wouldn't want you to like move past something that they couldn't kind of convince you on. So they wouldn't want you to come at something directly. If you did try to push, like this is if you were kind of coming into like resolution or trying to like talk through whatever it is that happened, I feel like so not only would they not want you to be direct with them in any way, they would also, if you were trying to move the conversation on because you could tell it was like not going anywhere, or it wasn't being addressed directly or clearly or something like that, they were trying to deflect or talk in circles or change the topic. It's something here where it's like if you were trying to move forward onto your point, they would keep trying to drag it back to this deflection point. They would keep trying to like drag it back to the projections and all of that. So anyway, nevertheless here, I feel like there was a level of like comparison or something. And I don't know. I don't think they knew where to start. And I don't know if they meant to cause a tower moment, but they definitely, I don't know, for some of you, I feel like they probably did, but let's not get too hasty. But also it's like Mars too, so they could just have like a strong Mars placement. To be honest, guys, when I read this energy, I just kind of feel a bit lost and a bit hopeless. Like I don't know. And this could be how you feel, or this could be how this person feels now. It's like they know that it's been taken too far, or you're kind of like, of all the people that could have come up from back in the day, even if it wasn't that long ago, like we talked about, or maybe you didn't have a friendship for a long time, even if it was super impactful or significant. It's like, why do we get them come through? So I'm going to take another card. I don't know, but I feel like you guys genuinely really enjoyed each other's company. But there's something here where you could have really sparked each other, hit a nerve in the feelings in some way. For some of you, there's something here where like something wasn't finished. And I did get that energy of they could potentially want to interrupt or redirect things and stop things or bring them back to, you know, where they wanted it to be or something like that. But I kind of get that something was underdeveloped, something was still in progress or something like that. And so it's like, I think they jumped the gun on something that wasn't finished. So I don't know if you like said something and they didn't understand where you were going with it, and instead of letting you finish it and like hearing what you had to say, they had to like jump on it, tamp it down, shut it down. They felt like you were trying to oppose them, and then that's when they were like, no, we're not doing this. Tower moment, betrayal, whatever it is, I don't know, argument, whatever. Okay, this person could have been like deeply attracted to, oh man, why does that happen? Okay. So we also have the Starborn. So reference to stars. So there could be Aquarius. We already had Aquarius before, so that could be good confirmation. Yeah, they definitely could have been attracted to. And if it wasn't just about attraction, it was like, even if they weren't physically attractive to you, which I feel like for a lot of you, they definitely could have been, like there could have been a strong attraction there. At least in terms of like joint there could have been a lot of spark, a lot of chemistry or something like that. But I think that I'm getting this person thought the world of you. There also could have been this thing where they thought you were special. They seen you on a mission, or you kind of gave life like an extra depth or something. I don't know what it is. It like when you like go through life and you just kind of after a while get bored with life or something like that. You could have given life like a new sparkle or a new meaning or something. Or this person could have seen you having star-like qualities of like really being, I don't know, they seen you in a high light. I just potentially with like nobility, hard to say, not sure. They seen you as a person that had something that they wanted for themselves. They wanted to commandeer it. They potentially wanted to paint a picture that you were like more broken than you were, or that you were darker than you were, or something like that. And this is the part that I kind of, when I picked up this archetype deck and flicked it over before to put it down, because I thought we were just taking 2 cards, and I seen this card. There was a video that I've referenced a couple times, and I think it was like, what's their take on the situation? So that might be one that you're interested in going back and having a look at. I can't remember what group it is. There was a group where this was the card that they had come up, and we were talking about how they framed something that played out in a different way. Like they framed you for something, or you could have framed them for something. I feel like it's probably like they could have tried to, they tried to frame the way something played out about you, or they tried to like get people on board with some sort of framing, whatever that is. I don't know. Okay. And there was something where other people had witnessed it and they didn't want to get involved and stuff. So yeah, getting goosebumps and chills now. So just confirmation. Okay. For others of you, there could have been a trio. There could have been like three people that were like really close or good friends, even if, you know, I was talking about like an inner saint. So there could have been that being part of a bigger group or a community of some kind, or a workplace, but there was like 3 of you that really come together. And so it was like you, this person, and maybe one other. And I don't know if you guys were like closer and it was like mostly you 2, but you also had like a close mutual friend or something like that. Or a close mutual friend was involved somehow, whatever that is. I don't know. They want me to talk more about this betrayal. I'm hearing that it could have caused sleepless nights. I just feel like it's that trust. It's that loss of trust that you then have to like move on with or live with, like the loss of trust. And it's like, the thing is here is that I don't really feel like your ego is hurt in terms of like, I thought I was so good, they made me look bad, anything like that. I kind of just get more that you like had a lot of faith or investment in this relationship, and that you just thought that it was like worth more or valued more. And so when they did this, it was really just like, yeah, I'm starting to feel my heart well up a little bit. I just thought that like I meant more to them or something like that. And just the thing is that I feel like they did love you, but they also like couldn't help whatever this like inner internal conflict was that they had, or when they got in their feelings, they couldn't handle it or something. Or maybe they could have felt this way for a lot longer than what you realized. And it just like, it happened at a moment where like they couldn't keep a leash on it. They like couldn't rein it in. It was like uncontrollable or something. It got the better of them. Something got under their skin or something like that. But like the reality is that I feel like, I almost want to say all along, this person just wanted something that you had, or something that you represented, or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it. It almost makes me feel sick in the gut, feel like there's a lot of emotion in the heart. And it's not even like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I'm sad. It's just kind of painful. It's like, trust in humanity. Where do you go? So anyway, but I mean, only take what resonates. If it doesn't seem like this is something that has played out that would make sense to, I would just leave it. Yeah. There could be another group. There could be people here in this group where you've wound up in the wrong group. I could also get the potential feeling where some of you may have been brought into like a cross watching for a group where, so remember, flip the energies here, because I don't know which side of this that you're on. The goal here is not to paint like a certain person in a certain way, but rather that we just recognize like the actions that were taken or something like that. I don't know. For all we know, it could have, like I said, flipped the energy. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to take another card. I almost want to say that I need to kind of keep saying we're going to move on. So maybe as this is coming up, this is kind of like painful for you, or you want more details, or you feel like something hasn't been clarified, or you feel like something's being misrepresented here, or that this person is misrepresenting themselves, or I don't you like, yeah, flipping the energy. I'm starting to get a bit lost in this energy because it feels like it's very quick. It's darting all over the place. I feel like it's kind of hasty, like it wants to put a fire out before it really takes off. Like maybe an internal fire. So this reading could really, it might not be a comfortable reading for you. It's okay to click off the video. You don't have to watch this reading. If you feel like my channel is not serving you, it's okay to watch other readers, because I have watched readings before where I have felt like, I don't know, like the person is picking up on the situation, but it's like almost the same, but there's like just enough significant details that are actually slightly different, where it's like, I can't even generalize it, but it does sort of seem like what the other person would think. And sometimes what can happen in these readings is that this is meant to be like what a person from back in the day thinks of you. Maybe you've had an energy come through here that is not a person from back in the day. We did talk about it could have been not that long ago, or maybe the friendship just wasn't for a very long time. So you would have thought of all the people to come through from back in the day, it would have been someone you were better friends with for a long time. And if it wasn't that, it could be like you feel like you're getting the other person's perspective, or you could be like, you might feel like I'm missing details here in what's played out in this situation, or that I've jumped from one place to another all over the place. And like a lot of the time what can happen in these readings is that I can either mirror you, the viewer's energy, or I can mirror the energy of the person that is sort of coming through in the reading, or like how they kind of show up in the world, or how they think, or something like that. So I do get in essence a little bit of an energy of like over intellectualizing what's coming through, thinking about it, wanting to correct it. So again, I feel like if you're not getting anything out of this reading, or like my readings as a whole, I don't know, like I don't do them for the fun of it, you know, like I'm not a big channel or anything like that. I'm definitely not out here just trying to take stabs at people. I recognize people start out from like all different places. Like, you know, I myself as a person, I feel like as 30-plus-year-old me, I can see a type of maturity in people that I went to school with when we were like 16, 17. And it's like incredibly humbling for me to just be like, how did they already have that worked out back then? But I also realized like we literally don't start out at the same places in life. And so this is a point in time for you that if this reading is bringing up things that you don't want to like acknowledge, or it's hard to hear, have compassion for yourself. You're still a human. You're still learning. You're still on your journey. The fact that you're even here is like one thing. If you've gotten to this point in the reading, that's a whole nother thing. If you continue on with the journey, even if it's like not with me as a reader, like that's also another thing. It's like so not about me. It's so not about like, I know, like it is about the things we feel, but it's equally not, because while it can bring up a lot of things in us, it can like really hurt the ego. It can be like a big shock to the system when we hear things that are like not favorable, or like someone says something that it's like almost seems like an oppositional truth. And so for you, it could be like everything you're hearing here, you're just like, that's not how it played out. And you're very genuine about that. And like, if that's the case, I feel like there's some sort of like wires getting crossed here. And I really don't want people to, it's not my goal. It's not my goal to hurt people. I realize a lot of the topics that come up are very uncomfortable, and sometimes they are to shock our system. Sometimes that's what spirit wants, because it is like kind of the next thing on our path that can kind of help us grow or unravel some type of conditioning, or like maybe we've been stagnant for such a long time. And I've so been this person too that's had this happen, where I was like quite stunted emotionally for a long time, and then boom, the universe starts sending tower moments in, and it starts shocking my system until I am kind of forced to grow, because without it I was staying stagnant. I was comfortable and I was not transforming for my highest good or for everyone else's. It's okay to be human. It's okay to have made mistakes. It's okay to not agree. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I feel like that really needed to come through. So if most of you didn't resonate with that, and it might have just been for one person, that's okay too. Thank you for bearing with me through that. I appreciate it. I have a lot of gratitude when people give me grace as a reader, because I don't control what comes through. I get a feeling. It's hard to, I don't need to sit here and explain all my different clairs and, how I channel and read the cards and stuff. Like, a lot of it's intuitive. I read energy quite a lot as well. Sometimes more than others. Sometimes I can do a full card spread where I'm not reading energy at all and I'm literally just reading the cards, but I can do other readings where I almost don't need the cards, and it is what's coming through. I'm not trying to manipulate the energy. I'm not trying to frame it in a certain lens. If what's coming through doesn't seem right to you and you don't connect with it, don't allow it to override your truth. Do you know what I mean? My job here is not to make you think something, like, it's, yeah, illuminating truth, but if it's not the truth, you could have wound up in a group that's actually not for you, but maybe it was touching on similar themes. Like, maybe there's certain aspects to this where you're like, yeah, we did have a fallout. Yeah, we had a great friendship, blah, blah, blah. But like, maybe the underlying themes were just so different that it's like not actually the same. And so like, you've come close trying to pick your group, but it's not the group for you. So much love, guys. I appreciate you coming and checking out the videos anyway. I appreciate you giving me the grace to get through it to this point. I kind of mostly appreciate it when people are, if you strongly resonate with me and you find these readings helpful and it helps you with your introspective journey or spiritual self-love journey or something like that, I don't ever want to not tell the truth. If that's what I'm getting, I'm going to give it to you. I have like a respect for the people that come through in these readings, that if that's what I'm getting and that's the message I'm meant to pass on, that's what I'll pass on, okay? So it does come with love, even if it's hard and it doesn't seem like it. But also I'm aware we can sometimes get mixed up in being drawn into energies that are not always for us as well. So I would just leave that and maybe try picking another group or a different reader. There's so many good readers out there, and we'll move on from that point. Like I said, the point of this is I'm not out here to hurt people's feelings, but a lot of the time topics that come up can be really hard hitting. So I appreciate it too, okay? I have been there. All right. So, more cards. I feel almost a little bit shaken up by this, but I also feel like the energy is shifting, okay? So I don't know if that's a reflection for some of you that this is like a lot. It's overwhelming. It might be a bit of a shock to the literal nervous system. And for that, I send you much love and compassion. And, I hope that spirit can be kind to you over like the next 24, 48 hours to help you bring that back into balance and to help you calm and soothe in a way that's like helpful for you, right? But I do feel like the energy is transmuting, it's grounding, it is shifting into a higher vibration. It is a lot lighter. I know it's hard, right? Being high vibrational and grounded at the same time can be a bit tricky at times, but I'm also getting goosebumps and chills. So I'm going to trust that this message, that the people that are meant to find this message do find this message, and that it is, what was supposed to be for their highest good at this point in time. Yeah, okay, that's enough of that. So let's move on. I'm also now getting that this could have been 3 years ago. So we had 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or the friendships could have lasted for that long. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Okay, I want to take another card. I feel like we might get a little bit of love coming in the back end of this, right? So it doesn't matter what end of this you're on. I don't feel like Spirit's goal is to just shoot you down and leave you without some sort of love. I don't know, take it what resonates. Yeah, you guys, you could be feeling like Spirit's treating you very indifferently at this point in time, but like, this is part of building who you are, even if you don't feel like it. I don't know. I don't want to be the person that says that message, but I am. And it's like, even if this causes you to be a little bit doubtful, it's helping you develop your intuition, right? It's helping you exercise discernment. It's helping you lean into your intuition. Does it feel right to you? Can you meditate? Can you see if you get some sort of higher answer that maybe you don't come to a tarot reading for, you don't come to pick a card, you don't go to someone else, you don't go to a middle person. Maybe this is more about you connecting with your own intuition than it is something else kind of coming through that maybe it's not a message that you want to hear, or maybe you just don't want this person coming up. Like maybe they come through in readings too often for you to like be comfortable with. I don't know. I feel like you could have potentially cried about this a lot, or this person, for whatever side that's on. It could be in a very painful situation for you. You could feel quite hurt. You could feel indifferent. You could have felt very devoted despite how it was represented. Or if, you know, back with that original storyline, you could have been the person that felt like you did devote a lot. And yeah, it's a mirrored energy, really. But, you know, it's part of your development. I feel like this could have been really hurtful. I kind of, what I'm looking at is I see the eyes, and her eyes are welling up and she's crying. She's like, almost gives me the sense of looking out into the void. She could have potentially been, you could be in a dark night of the soul, or your person could have been going through a dark night of the soul at the point that this happened. Yeah. I feel like that's probably enough for that. We're going to get more cards, and we're just going to keep going. These are turning out to be quite long readings today, so I'm not really sure what's going on, but maybe we've just got time for it, or the energy is right? Even if it's painful. I understand for not everyone would this be painful, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Some people it's sort of like pretty mild, and other people it's pretty raw and real. We don't need that many. We do need this one. Okay, so we have 10 of Cups with happiness and balance with, yeah, so definitely strong healing energy here. Definitely, I don't know, you or this person could have thought of each other as 10 of Cups, or your connection or relationship could have felt quite balanced, or like it was like, you know, everything that you want in life or something like that, or I don't know, really good. And if it wasn't, I feel like this is something that you're kind of led into afterwards from having developed that like wisdom. I'm getting clarity and certainty. It's like learning discernment. So even if the relationship didn't feel like that, which I feel like for a lot of you it did, then maybe this is like what follows. It's kind of like a new, I don't know, I'm getting oasis. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I want to take more cards. So one of these. I'm going to town today. All right, here. White Buffalo Woman with peace. Yeah, it definitely, this feels like both, you would just want a lot of peace here. Or your person wants peace. Even if all the feelings that have already happened and everything, it's like, just a wanting of peace now. Or maybe you feel at peace with it, or this person has come to peace with it, or to terms with it, or something like that. I feel like this person, I don't know if it's you or your person, could need more sunlight. Like there could be something here. You could be affected by SADS, like the seasonal, what is it? Oh no, seasonally affected depression or something like that. Maybe if it's like really windy, or if it's winter where you are. I know in Australia right now, we're in winter at the moment, is particularly windy day today, and it has been raining quite a lot off and on. I don't know, maybe you're not getting enough vitamin D, or you're not getting out in the sun enough. Obviously, be sun smart, especially in Australia. The sun is brutal at times. Okay, we're going to take more cards. But I mean, there's something to be said about like you might not be getting outside enough or getting enough sun. And it can, if a vitamin D, I believe, not only can it be like a vitamin, but it can be, I don't know if it is a hormone or if it just strongly affects your hormones, because I know that it can help with melatonin. So you or this person, I feel like this is for you now at least, is that you might not have been sleeping very well during this time. Okay, so and you know, if you're not getting enough sun, it's just all contributing. It's beginning to feel like a snowball effect of just ish stuff happening. Okay. All right. So we've got, what is this? Knight of Pentacles, Horse. Definitely an energy of being a bit too brash and going after something, but I mean, it's real, whatever it is. could come off a bit wild. This could be reflective of you or this person, I'm not sure. But the truth, it's very much like, this might be the untamed truth that you like. Yeah, the untamed truth. And the mirror, that's wild. I kind of love it when the cards come out with confirmation reflecting things that we've talked about, and they're like, boom, that's exactly it. Ace of arrows in this deck is Ace of swords, so it says the breath of life. I feel like you guys could be experiencing divination on a whole nother level to what you had before. Some of you could be going through dark night of the soul. I said that already. Some of you could be going through an awakening. Even if it is slower, for some of you it could be quite quick. I want to say wick, but it could be quite quick. Some of you, candles may be helpful to assist in grounding energy, offering supportive protection while you kind of tap into meditation or something, if you can find a way to do that safely. Again, the light, the sun, and being out in nature would be very helpful. Okay, so what do we have? Death moves among us, going deep. I kind of get ego death there, right? Or like potentially negative energies as well underlying something. Consolations of isolation, so working things out on our own. Oh, the sadness of letting go. Yeah, grieving and a time to share. So even if you aren't in connection with this person anymore. Oh, there's more here. Hold on a second. Yeah, there might be someone else that you can share with this about, and it might actually fundamentally be a cornerstone of a new friendship that is actually deeper. Or even if it's not deeper in comparison, just another nice friendship, right? Yeah, ebbs and flows of life, and find your night self. So definitely a call here to lean into your intuition. That's not the first time that come up today. All right, so we're going to take more cards. So this, guys, I understand this is like a pretty long one. If you're ever like not down for a long one, you know, you can always like check out the timestamps between the groups to kind of work out how much time it might go for. And the other side of it is, if you feel like I am aware that I can, sometimes the messages can come out slow, or I can be a bit of a slow reader, you can always like speed up how fast I talk, like the playback. Okay, so we've also got Aquarius come out again. We've got Capricorn, we've got Cancer. Yeah, I don't know. I think you guys right now could be looking for like a beacon of hope. We did get hope come up before as well. You could feel like this relationship was toxic, or it took a lot from you, or you could be, it's probably more likely that there could be rumination from one side or the other, if not both, around whatever this was. I don't feel like it's potentially super toxic necessarily. It kind of gives me more negative rumination than it does toxicity. Although, I mean, something about what played out could be illumination of toxicity within ourselves, or a mirror for that. So just take what resonates there. Like I said, have compassion for yourself or for this person. Even if we recognize that we may not be down with that type of treatment, you know, we can still love people from afar, and that's okay. And it does seem like there was a lot of love there. And maybe sometimes that loving people from afar is the greatest act of self-love that we can, you know, take on. So, okay, this person could have felt like akin to you, even if you weren't. I'm getting like birds of the same feather flock together type of energy. So there's that. All right, finally, group 3. Also this person, they could really like these colors. So they could like turquoise, or like purple, or blue, or green. I don't know, just, or even gold. Take what resonates anyway. So thanks guys for joining me. Hopefully this is like genuinely helpful to take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in another reading. Okay, welcome to group 4. If you chose the plain tree pendant, which is this one right here, then this will be your reading for today. I was getting a few things at the start. I heard the number 1 specifically. And I also was getting something about yours and this person's Venus and Mars could be opposing each other. There's something here with like the way in which one person kind of navigates social relationships, or like, you know, a cooperative or a altruistic kind of social benevolent behavior, like a working together behavior. There's something here where it is in opposition with the other person's Mars, which I guess would be how we enact, how we like take action within the world and our sense of self or something like that. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful to you guys. I also have Gemini second house. I already said Mars and Venus. So some of you could have Gemini in the second house. You could have Gemini placements. What is Aries? Could, I don't know. Could also be Taurus, but we'll move on. Okay. So we also have the blue kyanite and the lapis lazuli today. So there is like a strong call for being bold or unapologetic in yourself and how you show up in the world. It doesn't always have to be strong. Sometimes it can be like softer undertones, but nonetheless still being ourselves. We're not, maybe we don't need to shout it to everyone. Maybe we can still be ourselves in quieter ways that are a bit more subtle, but we're not altering that for anybody. We're still just being exactly what we are. And so we also have the orphan and the mystic. So this could be 2 archetypes of the people involved here. I'm not really getting a specific person in the audience for this. So I'll just talk through it and we'll work it out as we go. But I think what we might do is I might reference the orphan and the mystic, because I do feel like they're 2 separate people. So I'm going to put a little bit of distance in between them. That could also be something here where if there isn't already a little bit of distance between yourselves, there could have been someone that had a helping hand in putting distance between the 2 of you. So only take what resonates. And this is meant to be a reading about someone from back in the day. So yeah, it looks like we have a person here who they probably didn't have a lot of help in life, and for some of them they may have just found it necessary to kind of help themselves in whichever way they could or that they needed to at the time. Some of them could have found themselves in vulnerable positions where the people they were around weren't actually the best. And for others, they could have tried to take things that weren't theirs, and they could have kind of come through in a snake-like energy, but I don't feel like it was on purpose. It wasn't for like malintent. It was just they needed to get what they needed to get so that they could actually get something, if that makes sense. And it doesn't take away from what they did, but that's explaining kind of where they came from. Okay, so the other side of it is that we have another person in the mystic energy. This person could, I'm hearing all knowing, so this could be you, this could be the other person, but now I'm talking about it, I feel like this is probably my group 4. Where we're in 4. Yeah, you could be my group 4. Okay. You could have undergone a lot of transformation over your time. A lot of people might not recognize you. Some of them may wonder whether this is real, although I feel like it's undoubtedly. I know I said that this is 2 different people, and it definitely could be, but we have so many people that like different situations coming through to group 4. This could be 2 aspects within yourself, right? Because I'm getting strong transformation, and I know butterflies can be representative of that, but I actually am getting an underlying energy here of not always having looked like what you look like now or something. So some of you could have had a glow up. Some of you could have, I'm getting this as internal and external, most at least internal, like, although I feel like some people probably are not sure if they could recognize you or not. So even if it's not a physical thing, maybe they couldn't recognize the actions that you took, the change in your beliefs, the way you carry yourself or operate throughout the world, something like that here. But it is also the mystic. So there's something here as in like, maybe there's like a stark difference in the beliefs. Yeah. Okay, something else. For those of you that it could be confirmation for Mother Gaia had to join us today. So just take what resonates and we will move on. Yeah, okay. I'm getting something about flowers in the desert. Makes me think of like desert rose, and we actually have like an, I don't know if it's echeveria, however you pronounce it, succulent. Something special about you that's really practical, that people don't understand the way in which you do something. Like they don't understand how you survive, they don't understand how you transmute energy, they don't understand how you show up in the world, or they don't understand the difference between the way that you look and the way that you carry yourself. And I'm called to kind of say that like I can dress extremely plainly or casual, and then, you know, if the right person struck up the right conversation with me, they might learn a lot more. So not everyone that's spiritual is out there kind of dressing boho. I mean, I love it, it's a vibe, but yeah. Okay. Also being called to say that not everything is as it seems, and some people may impose childlike behavior to kind of get away with things, okay? To kind of play on a vulnerability or something like that. It almost gives me a little bit like weaponized incompetence. Maybe not the same thing, could be, depends on your person, your situation, but we'll take some more cards and move on. Oh yeah, this is the one straight off the bat. I don't even have to shuffle. How good's that? I feel like this is shadow, voyeurism, falsifying information. So this person could be keeping tabs on you without permission, without consent. So they could be, I'm getting, there's a card in the What's the Tea deck, divination abuser. So this person could be pulling cards on you, going to readers. They could be, I don't know, people have varying opinions on what is and isn't okay in terms of consent, what is considered consent. And they're definitely keeping tabs on you. What else is there here? They could be trying to like remote view. They could be using mirrors. They could just be like, you know, even if they're not into any of that stuff, they could just be like, you know, anytime your name's brought up, their ears are pricked, right? I feel like people would notice that. They'd be a fly on the wall happily. Sometimes they could go under the radar as a fly on the wall, but most of the time I think people can tell that they're very interested in what they have to say about you or something like that. It's a bit weird. I don't know. So I asked about back in the day and they were saying like 15 or 16. We also have the number 5 here, and we also have, what's that, 21? So I don't know, let them be closed. They could be relevant. We also, I think we said we have the number 2. What else is there? Potentially 3 or 4. I don't know. I'm getting lost now. Okay. All right, one more card. This person's so paying. They're so, I don't want to say spying on you as in like it is weird, but it's not weird. Like, what am I trying to say? Basically, it is weird. I feel like they could have a tendency to potentially be a little bit obsessive. Like it's like they're just paying too much attention to you, but I don't feel like there's anything like insidious. Like they're not predatory or anything like that. It's just very much like keeping tabs on you. I feel like this person is nosy in general. Like they just want to know everyone's business. They probably tell everyone about it when they find out. They probably act like they're very concerned and care about you to one person's face, and then they're like putting you down with your name in the mud to the next, okay? So I would say don't be fooled by the picture that this person, the way that they present, the face that they put on, the picture that they paint. They will try to act like it is very vulnerable and very soft, and like they're sharing with you from a caring place, but really they are trying to create a rapport where you will spill the beans. And if it's not that, they kind of want to tell a story and see if you'll correct them or not, because they are actually testing you to see if you will just go along with whatever they tell you, because they would like a person who will just take them at their word so that they can say whatever they want. So it's like, again, I do feel, I don't know, it's weird because I kind of get that sometimes when people are manipulative, where it's like we could potentially assume that, you know, everything's insidious and be paranoid and like they're out to get us. I would tell you if I picked up on that energy. I feel like I've done that in enough videos beforehand to kind of, there is like you know, a track record of that or whatever. I don't really, the goal's not to kind of scare people or make people like pay heaps of attention to it, but we're bringing about awareness, okay? And so moving on from that, leaving what does not serve us and does not resonate behind, this person just pays a lot of attention to you. They have the potential to be obsessive with you, or they could hyperfixate. If it's not about you as a person, I feel like it probably is. There's something about you. It could be the hobby or the interest, or because you could be considered a mystic. They could be more obsessed about the mysticism than they are you as a person, if that makes sense. So again, take what resonates. They could also see you as being in your masculine energy. Doesn't mean that you necessarily are like male, but maybe that you move throughout the world and or embody more of a masculine energy. Okay. So you could just be a person that is like always taking action or something like that. I don't know. So we've got, I feel called to read from both attributes. So there's dictatorial control, abusive authority, but there's also talent for creating and supportive life, positive guiding light within a tribunal unit. So I think the thing is here is that you're not like a bad person. And I think people know it, but they're kind of playing on something about your position or something about what you do to kind of imply that people could potentially think that like, oh, well, that's an honest mistake anyone in the mystic's position could kind of make, or that like it's open to interpretation, so we'll just let people think what they want. And sometimes people could kind of, you know, the only example of a father that they've had is one in the shadow attribute, so then they go, oh, maybe the mystic is making things up. Maybe the mystic is not sharing the whole truth, or, you know, weird stuff like that. Maybe they are a charlatan, whatever. Just, I don't know. We're moving on. Even if, like I said, even if it's, I'm still referring to these cards by the names, like the orphan and the mystic. But even if you resonate with the energy of the mystic, but you don't consider yourself a mystic. Like I said, you could have been a person that had a strong glow up or a transformation. There could be a type of wisdom here. You could actually be quite an observant person. So even though this person's watching you, they know that you might be like observant by nature or something like that. But I feel like you are quite a naturally creative person. You could be quite self-expressive in a really creative, beautiful way that's quite meaningful or impactful to people. And you could give people the potential to kind of want to express their freedom, or they express with freedom, if that makes sense. So that's really lovely. Now, yeah, even though this person's not ill-intended, I feel like they take it upon themselves to kind of play some sort of detective role, but it doesn't strike, I don't know, part of it's kind of genuine, but it's like not really. It's more about being nosy and gossipy. Yeah, or they like want to get people on side or something. Oh, I don't need more of these. Okay. Yeah, anyway. I'm not always down for gossip readings, but I mean, we have signs here that show that that's what this is. Like, there's not a lot of mistaking it, even though there might be more to it, but we'll see. I mean, it comes up often enough, and I guess it happens enough in people's lives that, like, it just sometimes is what it is, right? So we have home and protection. Oh, we got to separate them all. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so this whole like voyeurism thing, this person they could pay attention to when you're home, or if you live nearby, they might like every now and then just randomly drive down your street or something. It's a bit weird. Maybe they go for walks past your house, and I don't know, it's like that weird crossover again where I'm like, they're not a predator, but they're paying way too much attention to you. And so what I want to say, sometimes I recognize we can be drawn into a pile that has similar themes but isn't always like the pile for us. So if you feel like that could potentially be happening, or if you know this person has some weird predatory energy, do not dismiss that. We be discerning in what comes through in these readings. Especially while you're like developing your intuition, or if it doesn't sound right, don't just accept anyone's God-given, I'm just a person talking on the internet, and chances are I probably don't know, and I'm saying things pre-recorded to a camera. I'm not having a conversation with you. I've got nothing to judge other than the energy coming through and the cards that are in front of me, okay? So if you feel like this person is predatory, don't dismiss that, okay? Disclaimer done. Use your own better judgment. You know your situation. Okay. I feel someone here could have potentially Libra energy. They could be just quite like a, you know, that altruistic. They could just be like a good friend. They could be a bit of a protective friend. So when I say someone, I'm actually, the more I talk about it, it's been related back to the Mystic card here. Okay, so they're probably a protected person in general, whether it is energetically, spiritually, or they are protective over their friends and family or something like that. And then I'm getting this orphan here just wanting a home. Wanting something that feels like home, not wanting to jeopardize a home, doing something to have a home kind of go in their favor, or I don't know what that is, but we'll continue on. I do want to say I feel like this orphan person is quite beautiful and has a lot to offer. They just don't, they're still coming from a place of like lack or need, if that makes sense. And we're not out here to like demonize people that are stuck in their inner child hurt and stuff. We're just going back to what's happened or what is happening or something like that. Okay, here we go. Oh, we had mutable, so you guys could both share, like you or this person could have mutable placements in your chart, or could just be acting from like a mutable energy. So we have surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change, but it also can sometimes be like nipping and tucking certain parts of us, choosing when is a good time to kind of show up as your full self or be like a little bit muted in energy or expression or something like that. But also being so that fluidity very much, being very flexible and yeah. Okay, I don't know, I'm going to move on from that. I don't know if I did the best job at explaining that. There could be something here about this relationship needed change, or it was going stagnant, and or if it's not about the relationship itself, it's like since then, after it's like fallen apart, or at this stage in life, there would need to be some type of acceptance or surrender to whatever it is that played out, so that it could clear itself out and it wouldn't be stagnant anymore, and allow a healthy change to come in, and then, you know, everyone's like moved on from it. Some of you could be crying that needs to happen so that like people can kind of like let the emotion flush out or something like that. But I feel like there's an offering here. There's like an offering of care. Yeah, okay. I feel like the energy's changing a little bit. I want to take more cards. So far, I'll just give you guys a heads up if you didn't already catch the timestamps and length of the video before, that the last 3 piles have been quite long. So, I mean, this might not be, they're all different, but I'm just putting that out there in case. We could have Virgo energy here as well. It's like mutable earth. But there could also be something shared here about like being a novice or being ambitious or being grounded or liking the natural environment or just being very practical people or something like that. Or being of like the same stature or socioeconomic class, if you will. Maybe you did the same type of thing for work, or you come from families of similar values or something like that. Even though I understand I've described one person as being an orphan and maybe having potentially a very different upbringing, I do feel like to a degree here, part of it's how it's been internalized, and, you know, one person's trash is another man's treasure kind of thing. It's like sometimes what you do with it, right? Not saying that this orphan person hasn't tried to, or they might not have been given the resources to be able to do that yet. They might not have found themselves in a safe enough space that has enough stability in their lives to be able to get to that part just yet. But I did say they would play on your vulnerability, and that is just the type of thing that they would probably want to tell you or want you to believe, so that they could kind of continue to like just take without really putting work in. So while the page could be a person who is sort of starting out, they could also be a person who's just not really dedicated, right? They could be more enthusiastic than they are dedicated. So that's something that I don't get come through very often, but it could be. Usually pages for me come through pretty enthusiastic. Okay, so what do we have? Something about this relationship, or even the way it played out, even after separation, like I feel like this if you are in this group, I feel like you guys have gone non-contact. If you guys are in contact, it's either about to, or you've come out of a period of non-contact or something. If that doesn't resonate for you, I would say that this is probably not your group. To maybe try potentially group 2, but I don't know about that. So just take what resonates. If I would only say if you already felt drawn to group 2, but you're like 2 or 4 and you pick 4, and yeah. Okay, so something about this connection could have been healing, like a healing balm in essence, even though it was like, I think the whole point of it was for some sort of conflict to arise, to kind of highlight the things that matter in life and the types of people that you want to carry in life with you through longevity over the years. And if you did come to a point of reunion here, I think it would make you think twice. It's almost like an exercise in discernment as well as being healing at the same time, okay? So for those of you that we were getting those messages regarding the discernment earlier, that could be part of why that comes through the way it did in the reading, was because it's like exercising your discernment, right? You're just practicing it, working that muscle. We're going to take more cards. You or this person could have felt quite blinded to the situation of whatever it was that played out at the time. You guys could have shared a love for health or for natural products. I think we already said that before. Or like, I don't know, eco-friendly stuff. I don't know why I get that come through, guys. I love it nonetheless, but just like, I just think of all the people out there. There's probably not that many that resonate with the eco-friendly stuff, but hey. There's something, there could have just been a quality about the person that was quite natural. They could have been quite in touch with, you know, nature. Tree hugger, for the lack of a better expression, okay? Yeah, anyway. I love it. All right, so love forgives distance. I'm not going to say more than that. I feel like that card speaks for itself. I keep trying to choose between 2 different tarot decks, and I keep getting different stuff. Joy. So yeah. This person or yourself could just be, I feel like this person's probably just trying to focus on the things in life that are like fun. What was that? 6 of Swords. Yeah, whereas you're like trying to start again in something. And it could be like starting again after this has happened, if you've gone non-contact not long ago or something, or it still feels recent even if it wasn't. I'm not sure. Or maybe you've gone through just different stages of life. Like maybe when whatever this thing was that went down, you were like at a stage of like a new beginning after kind of being forced to like leave something behind. Whereas this person could have just been in a moment of like what they consider as expansion for themselves, or like rising above something, or like just being in joy. But I kind of get rapid expansion here where they probably didn't know what to do with it. It's like, I almost want to say that they like got too big for their boots too quickly. And I feel like I don't like saying things like that because it kind of comes off with a negative connotation, because sometimes rapid growth like would be hard to handle if we don't have certain foundational blocks in place first, right? But again, this person would like to kind of play on the vulnerability of like that second guessing and the benefit of the doubt and stuff. Okay, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. There we go. Ooh. Okay, what else have we got here? Ace of Cups, yeah. I feel like they're very much just on their self-love journey. We don't really know what they're going to do next. I feel like they're just feeling very heartbroken and like they're needing to protect themselves at this time. And if it's not protecting themselves at this time, they are claiming territory where they feel like they're trying to protect their position within like a friend circle or group or something like that. I don't know. That's a bit weird because I don't normally get Seven of Wands as territory, but it literally says protecting territory. So it's like creating, they might be trying to fence you out of something, like putting in a border, keep you out. Yeah. Okay. I also want to say, even though they very much are on a self-love journey, they would also frame it to other people like that. Like they would leave out stuff and make it all about self-love or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like it is, but it's like there might be slightly embellishing something. I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I think it's like they think that you've been quite cold and detached and like maybe unreasonable as well. Like you're too rigid or something like that. And what else is there? I think they do ultimately want to, I don't know, but this is you. I feel like you guys are just looking for like the place where you belong, like what you would consider home, like your tribe that you vibe with, like the people, like-minded people, like you're looking for who you're going to carry with you into the future. People with like aligned values, literally teamwork, shared goals, collaboration, apprenticeship, effort, pulling energy. People that are going to work together effectively for like the better of the group, like not just like one person or something like that, whereas the orphan energy, I don't know if it's all they knew was to take without like asking or working for something, because if they're emotionally stunted or stuck in that old hurt, they may not have developed that within themselves yet. So there may be part of probably why they're called to focus on this self-love, right? Whereas I feel like the mystic here, or what I am mostly getting come through as my audience for this group, very much like working together, having firm boundaries. Okay, I don't want to drown it out, but I feel like we need more cards. So, this side. Okay, what else? There we go. Dreams to form. I feel like they're trying to manifest this connection to come back together, and they might actually start taking a practical step soon. So you guys could have very much moved on from this, but they're still wanting, I don't know, they want to protect, I don't know. Just if that doesn't resonate, just leave that part. For some of you, it could just be like staying on your journey, walking away from whatever it was, bringing your own dreams into form. But it's like the essence, the energy of walking away. Yeah, it's like going after the dream. I feel like if people really knew the truth of whatever this was, it would like kind of disenfranchise them with whatever played out here, right? So that being the case, maybe you have, I don't know, I feel like there's something here that's been said that's put a dampener on the truth, or like glorified something, one aspect of the truth, without acknowledging the whole truth. It's like one part of the story, one part of the pie kind of thing. Is there anything else here? I would say that if people, this is what this person is thinking. It's like, this is a person from way back that is thinking about you, right? So hopefully you realize, can work out from everything we've said so far, who they actually are. But I feel like if this person has talked to other people about you, and for most of you, I feel like that is the case, other people would notably realize that something does not add up here, even if it didn't come to them until kind of later on, even if it took them a while to kind of realize. So, but also the sign here where I feel like you left a situation, but you wanted a belonging, kind of group, or, people that you align with. So it's like for you to have stepped away, there's obviously something not in alignment or whatever. Also, I can't remember if I said it in this reading yet or not, because it's been coming through in the groups today. Sometimes the energy that like the messages come through in, or the tone or the way that I kind of talk about things, it can sometimes mirror your own energy or that of the energy of the person that like is coming through. So just keep that in mind. So we have here, this person accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit, or places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. We also have shapeshifter with skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything, or projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. So I don't feel the need to, like, they're not giving me anything on that. Like, that is for you to know what resonates for you and for your person. Okay. No. All right. Group 4, that's everything that I have for you today for this reading. We did talk about how someone's Mars and Venus were like not getting along. You know, tricky things in communication that were kind of coming through. People were just starting out at different points in life and maybe like not always understanding each other, but like the way that sometimes people will kind of weaponize like a vulnerability within themselves. I don't know. I hope that this, like, if nothing else, is kind of like validation or acknowledgement for you, or it helps kind of clear something up, or it helps you understand it in a way where you understand that it's like not about you, the way that this person treated you, but maybe it says more about them as a person, or where they're at developmentally, or I don't know, on their self-love journey, whatever you, yeah. Okay, thanks for joining us, guys. I know this is a bit of a longer one. Hopefully it was helpful too and you got something out of it. If these videos resonate with you, definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Otherwise, you can like the video, and I'll see you all in another reading. Take care.